So, so that world could open it up to bring some other characters back.
It
like
definitely
that.
could, yes. Yeah. By the way, because we love to tease Rich, and we don't know if Gabriel, we love that character. But I think for first and second time directing, Richard Spate's direction on this show has been just fantastic, and we're just so happy with Rich.
Thank you. A huge compliment. Thank you, Bob. Appreciate it.
Can you tease any characters that will be back, or no? We're not doing that yet.
I think.
By the way, but by tease, he means give them a hard time. Really
Just poke at people. No. I think we've got some cool characters coming back both in our world and in the apocalypse world. So that's the fun of it is, we've got some people coming back like, Missouri Mosley's going to come back for us for the first time in a long time. Obviously, Jody will be back for us and some other people like that. And then in apocalypse world, without getting into spoilers, some people who have been long dead on our show are less dead in apocalypse world, and much different characters. It's not as dead.
That's
levels
exciting.
of deadness.
It's more injured.
Yeah.
That's promising. So my phone number
That was
hasn't changed.
shifty,
Just FYI.
Andrew. Very shifty.
We're talking about a show that has been on since half this room wasn't born. We were going 13 years into a show. And the thing I think that makes Supernatural special in the world of television, for not just us who are involved with it, but also for you folks who watch it, is that it continues to reinvent itself. It continues to be interesting, tell fun stories, tell engaging stories that are emotional and connect with the audience. And that's all, if I may say, driven by the fabulous performances of you two gentlemen who continue to do outstanding work. Misha came along and slowed it down for a while, but now he's gone. And we can get back to the business of making quality TV. So for your journey,
this joke is not funny anymore.
This is the best day of my life. But if we can be reflective for a moment about, and Bob, you've been with the show since its beginning as well. So the question's for all three of you. Season 1 to now, how has your experience been, and how has your relationship with both the show and you, in your case, Jensen and Jared, your characters, how has it evolved over this long period of time?
That's an easy question. How was the last 13 years of your life?
Great, thanks for asking.
Yeah.
Thank you, good night.
Thank you, good night. That it is hard to speak quickly about the experience that we've had. Obviously, it's the longest job I've ever held, and I guess one of many things that I love about doing this job is that we're never doing the same thing twice. Every day is a new experience. We're telling different stories. There's new characters to introduce and old characters to finally get rid of, and.
It's that kind of crappy acting that got you fired.
It's been wonderful. The experience has been great. We've had our ups and downs. We've had great seasons. We've had maybe not so great seasons. It's an ebb and flow, but I think through it all, it has been wonderful, and I'm very proud to be a part of something that's lasted this long.
Really?
Yeah. I agree with everything he just said. I think for me also, it was kind of specifically, and it's difficult for me to identify the chicken and the egg. Not that I would even know which came first anyways.
Well, one is a bird.
There's some one is
and the other
little Twitter
doesn't
thing.
really move.
That's right. Got it. That's what it is.
Glad to help.
No, it's but Jared was a lot. Jared and Sam were sort of similar season 1 in that I was like, man, this is hard work. Like this is difficult to be up in Vancouver. I had no friends. I was living in a hotel room. We didn't know if we had a job for more than 2 months because we hadn't been picked up for a season. We hadn't even really aired yet, so we didn't have this family, which is badass, that we have now to support us. Yeah, and there was nothing, Twitter didn't exist. I don't mean maybe it existed, but it wasn't like, oh, well, I'm getting support from my friends that aren't here.
iPhones didn't exist.
iPhones, that's right, came out like season 1, right? I know, Jesus. Love you back.
So crazy.
And gradually, as the show has gone on, both Sam and Jared have realized that this is life. And life is pretty great. It can have its ebbs and flows, to borrow what he was talking about. It's ups and downs. It's good days and it's bad days, but it's wonderful. And to look out here after 13 years and see how many thousand people jumping around and dancing, and Kansas is here.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I met my wife on the show. We have 3 kids.
Right.
She's here somewhere. She's somewhere out there.
Same.
But it's changed a lot.
touching.
Can I add one thing, even though I wasn't there at the beginning? We were talking on, I know I'm new and now I'm gone, but we were talking about this on Friday. Someone asked us about a question about sort of the eventual demise of the characters and the end of the show. And Jensen started talking about a vision that he had had, a dream that he had had about the demise, about the end of the show, and about Sam dying. And the amazing thing about it was when he was describing this dream, the 3 of us kind of got choked up because we all know these characters so well. They're so a part of us that we have actually sort of taken them into our own emotional family, if that makes any sense. They feel real to us. And so the thought of Jensen as Dean losing Sam is actually like heartbreaking, which is kind of amazing. And that could only possibly happen, I think, with a show that's been running for this long.
That was what was remarkable when I went back at the end of season 11, and you go up a couple times a year to direct. Like the enthusiasm is all still there. The writing is still 100%. You know, and these two, you guys are doing work that I'm like, wow, it's season 11, 12, 13 of a show. You think people are phoning it in. You're absolutely not phoning in. That's why it's consistently great.
Let me just tell one story that I think really crystallizes the relationship that everyone has in this show. I was directing an episode, I can't remember which one. We were going to do a scene with Jared and Jensen. About 30 minutes before we were supposed to shoot the scene, they come to me and they say, I think we should switch parts. I think what's written for Dean is actually should be Sam and vice versa. And I said, really, guys? Now you come to me with this?
I think we had already blocked the scene and they were lighting it. And we went to we're like, hey, I think I should take all of Dean's lines and Jensen should take all of Sam's lines. You know, changing Dean and
because
Sam.
we were rehearsing it, we were running it, and we were kind of tripping over the dialogue a bit, and we were just like, what? Something's not right. And it was you. You were like, let's try something. And we've never ever done this and haven't done it since. But he was like, you read all of Sam's lines as Dean, and I'll take all of Dean's lines, read them as Sam. Okay, so we tried it, and it just worked. And we're like, you know, the light bulb went off, and we went over to Bob and said, Bob, hey, what do you think?
One of our producer writers, to tell him like, hey, you know,
we're going to completely change the entire scene and flip the dialogue. And of course, you probably thought it was a joke.
Well, no, you had a serious look, but I was going, I don't know. How is this going to
we're
work?
actors, Bob. We're actors.
So we went off into a corner, and they did it, and I heard it, and I said, yeah, that's right. You guys are absolutely right. We had to reblock a little bit, nothing terrible. But the idea, I think, that they're always in the moment like this and thinking about what they do, and also that I think they feel comfortable enough with the producing staff to come up and sort of want to make this honest change, and that we are comfortable enough with the actors to know that this is not about ego or anything else. This is just about making the show better. And the relationship that I think we all have is really special. And getting back to why I'm still here, I think is because these relationships are really dear to me, and I just appreciate every day that I can work on the show. So.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, I think it's to again, I couldn't have said it better. I think it's we obviously, and I think y'all in the audience know this, as much as we tease the short one at the end, and we all truly enjoy each other as people. It's not fake, like, hey, let's go pretend to have a bite to eat so someone takes a picture and it looks like we're friends. We have legitimate friendship aside from working together, but that doesn't always translate onto the page or onto the screen or into the work environment. But I feel like, especially 13 years in, we have a lot of trust with each other. Like, if I feel like I remember a scene in Croatoan, season 2 or 1, and we were doing a scene where Sam had been infected and thought he was going to die, and for whatever reason, it hit Jared too hard, and I was like crying, way too far.
It was embarrassing, really.
It wasn't.
His face was
not,
just leaking.
But they weren't Sam's tears, and so Bob, I didn't realize at the time. I was like, man, I really broke down. Like, this is going to be a cool scene, because like I was legitimately just crying my eyes out, and Bob came up and just kind of like, I think he's like, hey everybody, take 5 minutes, because it had stayed with me, and he kind of came in. He's like, hey, that was a great take. I want you to take a minute and just do it again and just dial it back a little bit, you know, go there. No, but it wasn't like, and it was gentle and kind and honest as a director to go to an actor who just broke down and went like, that you clearly went somewhere, and it was touching, but that wasn't Sam. And he was absolutely right. And I was like, got it. And I think that's kind of when I was like, maybe you don't remember, maybe you remember it, but yeah, it was. I trusted him, just like he said. There's trust here. Aside from our personal friendship, there's a lot of I trust that they cared about the show and the characters. They know that Jensen and I care about Dean and Sam. You know, so.
Yeah, the show has become. The show's about family, but the show is a family. It's clear when you see it from the outside, when you visit as an actor, when you visit as a director, from the whole crew. From you guys all the way down the list, and in LA, it's a family, and it's a impressive thing to witness. Truly is.